Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing ZEPHON again. There's been a new DLC, The Twisted and the Hollow, which is pretty cool, so... Yeah, ZEPHON's a weird one, right? ZEPHON's a weird one. I think, because obviously makers are Gladius. I love Gladius. Gladius is very replayable. I find ZEPHON sort of isn't in a lot of ways, because a lot of the factions borrow units from each other. Like, there's a lot of overlap, like a heck of a lot of overlap, a lot more than... something like Gladius, where you're playing completely different factions, with completely different rosters and technologies and everything, and, often ways of building their empire. This obviously has a lot of variety, but while borrowing a lot of stuff that's going to make a different campaign feel similar, which is kind of tough to then put DLC on top of it, isn't it? It's kind of difficult to go, here's more stuff that will have that same kind of overlap. It's an interesting model. By interesting, I mean, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I do want to try it, because it has been a long time since I played ZEPHON, and I did love that first playthrough. It's just I didn't feel like playing another one shortly afterwards, But it's been long enough that I'm up for giving it another go. But, with all that in mind, I mean, this DLC is $10.99? That's pounds. So it's what, like $15? Like, it's quite expensive, but it gives you a couple new characters, which, might be very, very unique. I don't know. We'll get into playing one of them and see. But they've also added, let's see, I think 7 new units across the 3, things. Human, voice, cyber. Oh, and something new for the Chiefess, actually. So it's 2 each, plus 1 for one of the neutral factions. There's also new operations. There's new items. There's a couple new outposts, which is interesting. There's like 5 new quests. It's impossible to know how extensive that'll be. Is a quest going to be something that's just going to be a little pop-up going, choose which one of the 3 results you'd like, or is it going to be really extensive? It's hard to know just from, a quick overview of what's in the DLC, There's also new mutations, so, the things you start with, these things. No, these things. These things that you can activate, well, that you can unlock. Oh. Do you want to be stuck with our affinity? Nah, let's have the ability to do everything. We're going to stick mostly to our affinity because it's quicker, but anyway. And yeah, there's new music, which I think is really, really cool. There is new music as well. So there's some interesting stuff there, but the scope of it, who can say? I don't know how worthwhile this is necessarily, but that's why I'm all the more intrigued to try these out. I obviously got given this for free, so, normally I wouldn't do this preamble to talk about pricing, because usually people can make up their own bloody minds, but it is interesting. It is something I'd quite like to hear from you guys, what you think about, what a DLC should be for this game, and whether you think this is what it should be. Because, yeah, I do wonder. I think this game would benefit hugely from a story mode. I think a game that's supposed to be repeated a bunch. I think having a bunch of preset, smaller missions, that don't take as long, that you can finish in like 3 or 4 hours with like limited tech trees, and then you would be willing to do more and more and go against other people. If you've only got like human units in the first match, in the first game you play, you just have a couple of human factions against each other, and then you can expand that. I think there'd be more reason to come back. But my first experience with the game was literally I just had every single faction in a giant mosh pit, so I sort of experienced everything in this sort of big messy way, which is very fun. But now I've experienced everything in this big messy way, it seems weird to do anything else. So this time I'm doing a small game. We're doing a little one. Okay, we're doing a little one. And I know there's a lot of preamble in this in this episode, which I'm sorry about, but I think these are interesting things to sort of make note of for people considering picking this DLC up. It is going to be almost a review in process. Not that I really review games, but you know what I mean. I think it's something you guys might want to spend some time considering. So let's see. So we are going to play as a Twisted Mother, because I mean this picture alone is so like weird, like Cthulhu nonsense. I think is really cool, and we've not played the voice yet, as far as I remember. I don't think I have. Did I play the demo? Anyway, whatever. Though she isn't aware of it, few have travelled deeper into the voice than she has. And, oh yeah, one thing that's changed, this is just part of the patch that came alongside it. Every faction can start with slightly different units now, which I think is pretty cool, so it will be a little bit different. So, Amoesha's Devourer, that's new. Devotees of Throkos, that's new. And Engineers, and we'll gain early access to voice technologies. Gifts to the voice. When her burning smile is turned to you, you feel so very special. Spend influence to buff your units at a cost. Interesting. That's kind of cool. So I think she can, like, sort of curse your people. She's like one of the Chaos Gods. She's going to give people her gifts, which is fun. Tender ministrations. Despite her afflictions, the mother insists that all her children care for one another. Increased healing rate if adjacent to an allied unit. That's really cool. So we want to go for, like, numbers of stuff, so we can benefit from all the healing, which is nice. So we'll try and do that. Abhorrent. Though her kindness is obvious, the mother's appearance and unreliable personality puts off independence. Gain less from trading pacts. Interesting. Okay, we're going to be kind of on our own, which is almost better because we're playing on a smaller map with fewer players. We're actually playing with more players than are recommended for map size, so it'll still be pretty chaotic. But yeah, we won't benefit so much from trading. Immaculate Delivery. Elite. As her elite move. Her love envelops a target, passing it safely through the bleed to another place. Spend influence to teleport units to allied units. That's very cool. That's really useful. Yeah, we can deep strike. I love it. We take care of our own here. I take care of the rest. Events tell their own story. One day, a town is a bustling prison camp. Oh, lovely. The next, it is empty. Its inhabitants vanished overnight, reappearing miles away. A woman is changed by the necessary sacrifice, and her husband has vanished. The mother started out as a housewife. Her husband worked on the oil fields. She kept the home and the farm. They were the heart of their prepper commune. Having their own family was the next step, one they both longed for. Life was bliss. Then the sky fell. Soon the Akron came, disarmed the people, interned them, performed desperate experiments to find the secret of survival in a world molecularly hostile to their alien bodies. The commune turned gradually into a concentration camp, and the people looked to the couple for leadership. Who knows whether the Akron experiments touched the couple? How their despair reached the voice? What she sacrificed to transport her people so far? All we see is a mother and her people, far from their home. Though twisted and transformed, the mother still leads the people, aids them with her uncanny gifts. She's not always aware that she's changed, something has broken. She forgets herself, but she retains her hospitality, her care, her charm. She just wants to help her neighbours and guests. Though woe betide any who turn on those under her protection. Woe betide is is funny for me because I've played so much Gladius. There's several technologies that have the line woe betide. That have a line with the phrase woe betide in, which I think is kind of fun. We're seeing a comeback of that. To me, it feels like an Easter egg. The writer of, the writer for this studio seems to just love the phrase woe betide. I dig it. It's great. So yeah, we can play hard difficulty, single player. And yeah, mostly random. We also have the Hollow Warlord. We'll figure him out later. I'm not going to read through all his stuff or I'll be here forever. Let's get to it.
We were not ready for their divine judgment. We were tested, and almost everyone just failed. Their dark mysticism shattered an era of enlightenment and ushered in the dusk of the 21st century. Billions of lives were lost in a heartbeat, turned to ash, and cast away in the wind. Our soldiers were gone, but our weapons kept fighting, driven by an enigma in the networks. Their surviving forces waged a desperate crusade against the machines. We became bystanders to a relentless war. Now our world is an ever-twisting nightmare. Hellish threats lurk in every whisper and shadow. There is no glory, only survival. Deliver us from this trial. Reclaim our world. For mankind.
Okay, so I'm trying to get used to the controls again. It's not WASD, I always forget that. It's arrow keys to move around. Although I always just end up using the mouse anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I've not played at all. I've not played at all yet. I'm seeing all of this blind, which I think is a lot of fun. These ones look amazing. These ones look amazing. God, what the hell are they? Devotees of Throkos. Alright, well... good for them, I suppose. They seem happy. Seem sleepy. They just got out of bed. Stretching. Yeah, I guess their... thorax is achy in the mornings. And this guy, what the hell? Amoisha's Devourer. Well, there's a couple of heads there. Only one of them really has a face. One's just a horrible maw, but then so is its belly. Little dangling bits as well. What are these little bits dangling? These juicy danglers. Alright, we've got a lot of boys with juicy danglers, and then we just have our engineers. Okay, one thing I would love to see as well, because we got, obviously, this is such, like, cultish craziness. It's weird that engineers are just, like, a universal thing across all factions that look like this. I think it would be more interesting to have unique engineers, but that's just me. So, we need to build an outpost somewhere. It's saying there's a good spot for one. No, it's not. That's just glowing for other reasons. I was thinking it was glowing because I was hovering over it. I was like, it's not glowing much, is it? Sure isn't. Ooh, do I jump down here? We'll get plus 20% food, which is very good. And that's a flesh tree. That's a great thing to find at the start. Although I think last time I got a bunch of flesh trees, I ended up with my population being too high, and I was having to pay a bunch of food for population that wasn't working because I didn't have enough buildings to keep up with it. But still very useful to have. And yeah, big bonus to food on that tile. But I don't think we need that much food, do we? Need more algae when we're playing the voice? God, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We also have Inhuman Kindness. Plus 20% hit points to target allied unit with Mother's Favour. And we have Mother's Favour. Applies Mother's Favour to target allied unit. Extra attacks. Invulnerability damage reduction. Morale loss. And loses hit points each turn. That's interesting. Interesting. Alright, and then we have Mother's Scorn. Removes Mother's Favour from a target allied unit with Mother's Favour. Alright, so we'll be turning these on and off. This is going to get difficult, I think. Really cool looking city, though. Really cool looking city. I don't know if that's unique to her. Because I don't recall other voice cities looking like that, but maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention. So, Devotees of Throkos, I guess, can jump in there. Let's get that treasure. We have that captured now, which is lovely. We'll go capture this as well. Okay, so we've got a bunch of food and research. We found a cyber cache. Machines don't need to squirrel away supplies, and they sure as hell don't leave anything behind when they abandon a base. So what were these things doing out in the waste? Was someone or something experimenting on us, dispensing supplies to see how it changed the face of the war? All these years and I still don't know who's behind them. Which is fun. I enjoy that as a thing. There's some arc discharge over here. So there's different like weathers, but the weathers aren't just like, oh, it's raining. No, there's an arc discharge, or there's a sandstorm or something, which is very cool. And yeah, they'll move around the map, disappear, reappear, just, you know, do their own thing. Which is cool. Do you know what this was? ZEPHON's wiring ran under everything, everywhere, miles and miles of raw copper. These arcs were a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of ZEPHON's power, lashing out at you. We could take advantage of that power if we wanted, but your enemies could too. Fun. Construct. So this is the, you know, the ZEPHON. So ZEPHON is the big AI that landed and decided to try and, you know, turn Earth into itself. So ZEPHON must have needed an inconceivable amount of power to wage its war against the Akron. It's basically like Terminator, and then the Akron are kind of like sort of a cross between sort of War of the Worlds and like Cthulhu myth. It's kind of weird. And then there's humans. You know them. You've probably met one. I'm one. so I've been led to believe. The text guessed that if fossil fuels or renewables were being quickly taken offline, it would react by building zones like these to generate new, power-efficient resource. If you got far enough into one of these zones, you'd start to think the planet was one giant machine. And a city. That's a city. You probably know cities, right? Probably? Maybe? I don't know, you might be a country bumpkin, but you've probably heard of them. Urban warfare is brutal. Every piece of cover that protects your troops feels like it gives double the shielding to your enemy. I preferred defending cities under siege than street-to-street fighting. In a siege, you felt solidarity with civilians and other soldiers. In the streets, you could only trust your squad. Everyone else might sell you out. Scary. Carrion Slough. Oh, that's just an area. Nice. Or is it Carrion Slough? It's just, this is Slough, but everyone's dead now. There's no, like... I mean, maybe we'll find an office that sells paper. We'll see. Human cache. That's a cache put there by humans, not... You know, it was human stuff in a cache. It's not a cache of humans. Like, ooh, we found some tasty humans. We'd find traces of other groups while out on recon. Pre-war or recent survivors. There'd be found abandoned gear by a campfire, dust-covered resource caches, occasionally a lone soul who struck out on their own. Another fighting hand was always welcome, but their stories about making it on their own. That inspiration had its own value. So it gives you random rewards, roads, you know what they are. The flesh tree, which I said was amazing. This gives you bonus population growth, basically, every 10 turns, which is really, really good. So it helps you get more population in a city, and you need your populations to man your buildings that you build in the city to get resources or whatever else. So I nearly walked away from the day. The day we decided to use these as a food source, but one smart logistics officer pinned me down with the math. If we camped by one of these trees, we could feed our people for a month. I asked them not to tell me if it turned out to be human meat. Yeah, it's pretty grim. It's a big old meat tree. Lovely. Found a forest. Yep. Voice cache discovered. Fine. We don't need to read all these. Ruins discovered. Brush discovered. River discovered. Abandoned spring. That's the area here. Oh, bleed. This is an important one. The voice's tendrils bled out from one reality and into our own, prying open a door to madness. These should not have plagued the earth. Their sickly, slimy extremities reaching out in search of flesh or metal to ensnare. I can't even escape the sight of them in my sleep. Some nights, often on a full moon, I wake sweating, still feeling the phantom pull of them dragging me to the earth rather. Sorry, font's very small. I assumed this was all in my head, but I've heard the whispers in the mess hall. Others dream of being crushed too. Spooky. Some wasteland. The Akron didn't think of these as wastelands. They must have been thrilled when they found their precious algae grew naturally and it took over the Earth environments. This is what they wanted to do to the whole planet. We made the most of it. We had a water win after all. But I made plans to burn every algae site to the ground when it all ended. So yeah, this is a lot of stuff. You know, the bleed is sort of a spiritual thing coming from another dimension. The algae is just like an alien plant that's now growing here because the aliens arrived. So there's a lot of overlapping just horror. It's all a bit ruined. And yeah, we discovered rocks, swamp, and water as well. Cool. Okay, that's a lot of things we've done. Let's build a thing. Right, let's go with straight away Midnight Chorus. So this could be our first recruitment building, basically. Produces voice infantry as well as increased loyalty and generates algae. So we're going to need algae, which we don't really have any of at the moment, but we're going to need algae for our boys, which we can get all these little red ones are algae, so we get 20% bonus up there. This gives us better food. I mean, that is only algae, so maybe I'll go there and we'll just get some algae going. Although we haven't grabbed that yet. So we will get that 20% bonus to food. So that, whenever you take over an outpost, this is an outpost, right? This meat tree is a type of outpost. You know, you build an outpost around it. Any like resource node like that counts as an outpost when you take it over. The yellow number, you know, or bonus will be a bonus you get to production of that resource if it's a part of a city. And then there'll normally be another number, but the meat tree is a bit special. Most of these places just give you a bit of food or whatever. Oh, in fact, actually, it does say that there already, actually. So they haven't got the resource on there for some reason. We get +2 food each turn. but just owning it. I don't know why it doesn't... It only shows you on hover. Oh, because when I'm doing that, it's only showing what's relevant to it being taken over in a city. Fine. Yeah, okay. Sure. Anyway, normally it's all color-coded in Gladius, so I'm getting my tutorialization mixed up. Sorry. So, we are going to make sure we have voice ticked, so we only get voice stuff ticked. If we want human stuff, we can tick that too, to look at more human things. But we're going to stick with voice, because your own stuff research is quicker. Extra algae in our headquarters, I think, is a good way to start. Seeing as how we're currently on -1. God, there's so much tech in this game, so much more than in Gladius. So yeah, voice unit for the headquarters. We should try and get a hero unit early, I think. And yeah, the devotees of Throkos, we have one, but they're not researched yet, so it'd be good to get them too. We get them from the Midnight Chorus too. Biological ranged monster that are strong against wounded enemies. Interesting. Extra influence when first capturing outposts. Quite good. More minerals on cliffs. The administration complex will give us influence, which is useful. God, I don't know. We'll just have to take it one turn at a time, I think. Because that's the thing, with the game not being like, you know, to me, feeling like it's not something I'm replaying over and over again. Just everything feels new to me already after a few months. So a picnic, she starts before you catch her. The you that pretends nothing has changed. Through her eyes, you see concrete walls as white as picket fences, minesweepers as gardeners tending their flowers, a tempting fantasy. There's respectful silence at the city gates. Your followers know you, so give you a moment. You force your sweet delusions deep down and speak for them. A picnic, this isn't. Our green and pleasant land is gone. You shift your bulk, ignore its incessant agonies, but that doesn't mean our amity is gone, our friendship, our community. It is on us to prove ourselves again, in this new land, this new flesh, and we will. Your friends cheer the platitudes. Still, it is hard that no one looks at you in the eye. Okay, so I think we can go through Bleed without any problems, I think. Wait, you're decaying? Seriously? You're losing hit points per turn? But you're a starting unit. That's a horrible thing to happen. Oh god. You do get better healing rate when next to adjacent units, so... But yeah, maybe you aren't immune to this stuff. Or is it the effect of that I need to look at? Maybe. I don't know. I'll stay out of it for now, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of crazy that they just suffer damage. They have Cataphora. What does that do? Applies Cataphora for 2 turns, which gives them... Oh, it creates decaying. So people lose hit points each turn. Wait, no. It gives them 100% hit points on removal, and then they start decaying. That's so strange. Survival instinct marked the difference between a devourer and a deformity. That and the extra head. Deformities shamble towards death, devourers sometimes scratched and clawed their way towards life. Catch one regenerating and you could snuff that life out with no skin off your back. Okay, so sometimes you need to use this on them so they can heal up for a while. And then they start decaying again, which is something that he's suffering from all the time anyway, it seems. Yeah, okay. That's weird. That's so weird. So they have to, like, hibernate to heal up. Ugh. That's super weird. Alright, let's move you over here. So we're, like, in the bottom corner, which is good, I think. You know, I think we're always going to be in a corner. Let's end the turn. And, oh. They've got one too. There's a neutral one as well. So, House on the Borderland. Research complete. I love the art. The illustration is so good in this game. In the cellars underneath our headquarters, we found a cabin, sitting in a dank, empty chamber. If you followed the voiced cultists inside, you'd find a single room furnished with the forgotten belongings of an old man. The cultists would dig at the cracks in the floor, where algae grew alongside the mould. And if you looked out the window, you saw not the halls of a cellar, but the colour-shifting sky of another world. Alright, more algae for our headquarters. Good. Now let's get the Whisperer of Gold Rouch. Fun. So you're going to be suffering some damage. That one actually is a higher level than this one, so... But they don't have the benefit of this stuff, right? So I think maybe we need to get the devotees of Throkos over here. Combat! Yep, I know. I know. So inflicted damage is calculated from the weapon's damage, accuracy, amount of attacks, and armor penetration, but the weapon's damage is first capped by the hit points of a single member of the target group. Basically, if you kill something, the damage doesn't overflow. Okay, what do I do with you? I don't suppose you're going to Overwatch, because you're a melee boy. So, do I want to get the first hit in? Maybe. I think I do. Rawr. Ugh. Horrendous. Also, we should have some damage reduction being in the forest. That might just be for ranged. I mean, there's a chance that forests and things spread as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, damage reduction for non-flying, non-large, non-flying units against ranged weapons. It is only ranged weapons. So if they run in, they'll still damage us just the same. Or more, because they're a higher level. Yeah, 9.4. 0.4 more damage. Horrendous. Luckily, we have these guys to help. So let's get you over here. Oh, hello. And I know I was going to go grab that cash, but needs must, you know. Alright, shot some spines at him, I guess. Does this have... I'm wondering if... Okay, they do more damage against stuff below 50% hit points. I should have attacked with the other guy first. Okay, it doesn't have rapid fire or anything, so it seems that we can shoot at any range and it's fine. Some units do more damage if you're closer. At least I think so. There's certainly a thing in Gladius. I think that was also a thing in this game. Okay, moving on. Oh, he's doing his little hibernation thingy for a couple turns, so we can kill him while he's trying to heal. I suppose we could heal up our own guy. It only takes a couple turns, so we can have them continue to scout, maybe? He can catch up. Oh, we found cicadas. Yeah, here they are. A bunch of cicadas have appeared. So cicadas are cool too. So they're kind of like a weather effect. But they cancel out your healing rate. But they also produce more food. So if you have, like, you know, farms and things, and then cicadas show up, then you're gonna harvest their food. Harvest them as food, like a bonus food, which is kind of cool. Which you'd kind of think would be the opposite, in a way. Because yes, you could eat them, but also they would devour all your crops. You know? I don't know. Whatever. They give us bonus food. They're a largely positive thing. If they're in your city, and not so good if they're on your front line. Look, I don't make the rules. Bugs were rich in protein and easy to cook into larger meals. Some of our people had lived in pre-war countries where cicadas were regularly on the menu. Catching them kept our people's bellies fed, and anyone who complained, well, they had two choices: starve or swallow their pride. Or in this case, swallow a cicada. Alright, you start healing. You grab that cash. More energy, lovely. So you can see our resources at the top as well. I'm sure you noticed that already. You know, I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving enough information for people who haven't seen this game before. Or, you know, to remind people of what's going on. So yeah, once that's done, next turn we can start recruiting. I won't queue up anything else, there's no point. Because we have no more tiles to queue anything up in. So, another interesting thing as well with this game, and Gladius. Oh, crap. Oh, are you kidding? That was a lot of damage. Ooh. Don't like that much. The Malachim Destroyers are quite scary. Still neutral ones, though. So that's the thing. Neutral, you know, the neutral factions. Just the random barbarians roaming around. They now include, like, I think it's the first couple tiers of units of, you know, the three sort of main factions, you know, human, voice, and cyber. So we'll see a lot more variety of stuff in the early game, which is kind of cool. So once you start aligning yourself with machines, you start to think like them. For me, the dead should be left dead, but our techs decided that that's a waste of cheap organic processing power. Slice out those unneeded emotional centers, overcharge their mobility, wired them with a pair of big guns, and you have a monster that you could have kept old world warriors up at night. It's just horrendous. They've been strogified. They're strogs. Anyone who's played Quake. But yeah, so they take their inspirations from a lot of different places with this game. And I appreciate that. It is fun. It's the exact same thing that Warhammer did, honestly. Like, Tyranids just alien, you know? Absolute Dragons, yeah. You know, the tower just Gundam, like it's, you know. Where's its inspiration on its sleeve? Whisperer of Goldrouch. There were rumours of a woman who bound her ears, covered her eyes, and, well, what she did to her skin. She wanted to feel nothing, only the voice. She was the closest any human came to understanding the Actrin. She wrapped their pain up in herself and carved out a new purpose. Don't get in her way. So, voice for headquarters. Voice unit for the headquarters. So it's a hero unit, basically. Biological hovering hero with the ranged abilities to heal and summon allies, as well as reveal and damage enemies. Which I think sounds pretty useful. Toxic Spearhead is a trait for the Dragon Spear. What's a Dragon Spear? Where do I get one? No. Expedition Outfitter? No. Should there be a... Susie, what is a oh, it's a Dragoon Spear, not a Dragon Spear, sorry. Farmhouses, Givalgi, that's nice. Also, I think this is new music. It sounds very Final Fantasy VII. It sounds like we're sneaking around the Shinra base. See what I mean? You guys hear it? I hear it. I have no idea. Do you want research? Maybe get research. Let's get a research laboratory. So yeah, when we get the 3, I think? 3 techs, I think it is in this game. Then you get the next tier unlocked. Alright, so you've healed up. So yeah, you can attack these guys rather viciously, which I love to see. And I don't think we can keep these guys in the fight unless they lose a model. Oh, they lost a couple. Excellent. I still think I might want you to move back and heal, though I could just heal you. It's only if they have Mother's Favor, though, and that removes Mother's Favor. God, that's a lot of influence we need to spend. Because we need to put Mother's Favor on them, which makes them start hurting, then we heal them, and then we remove it. So we can't really just use that for a quick heal. Which I guess might be the point. You know, Mother's Favor is just something that's going to augment their damage for a long, long time. Make them very dangerous for a while. Which actually makes me think that a unit like Amoshia's Devourer might be really good. Amoishas? Something. Certainly something. I also want to grab that, but I also don't want to get hurt. Can you just sit tight, and we'll see if you can heal a smidge while this thing we can finish them off with Amoisha's Devourer. So yeah, we also found that watchtower. The tech's still trying to figure out who built these. The architecture's human, but we haven't found any survivors who took credit for building them. ZEPHON doesn't need these to see, and the Actrin survivors never liked staying in one place. It was eerie. We used these towers to get to high ground and watch our enemies, but they always left you feeling like someone else was watching you. Yeah, very strange, isn't it? Also, this the sort of watchtowers and the... So that ZEPHON basically made a bunch of machines come to life and build awkward versions of themselves, like these weird creatures out of bits of machine, in this haphazard way. It almost feels like a precursor to the Horizon series. You know, with all the robot dinosaurs? Kind of feels like that. Just, you know, cobbling together just weird nonsense. And then, you know, maybe later it cobbles together something a little less nonsense. So please stop shooting me, so we didn't get any healing in. Because of being shot a bunch. But yeah, I really need to uncover what's around there if I run them in and lose them. So I do need him to lead. And not to go to there, to go to, like, here. I guess I could grab that cache. I mean, this is probably ballsy. There could still be stuff here that could absolutely destroy me. Really don't want to lose any units early, but I also want to get a good pace going. So yeah, we need to acquire more tiles, do we? Do we just not have the materials? What's going on? No valid targets. Oh, I thought I must have unqueued that. I'm sure we had this queued up. I guess not? Alright, sure, well, I'll grab that anyway. And, yeah, we get a load of stuff recruited, which is good to see. I mean, having a unit that can heal people is going to be really useful. Like, really useful. And yeah, you can get better healing. You get better healing in outposts, by the way. And you can go there next turn. These things are really interesting. Like, timing when to heal is going to be something kind of cool. Although you can only do it every 5 turns, so I guess, you know, if you want to be optimal, make sure you can do it every 5 turns. Advanced cyber cache. For a short time, some of my lieutenants tried to work out the point of these cash drops. If they gave us resources, it must have been to maximize a specific form of production. If we found units, we assumed we should build strategies around them. I told them to snap out of it. We'd have better luck drawing from a tarot deck. And so we did. Alright, one more turn and we get that. So yeah, we're on, I think, normal game speed. You can put the game speed way up, which doesn't change how quickly stuff moves or how much damage it does or anything. But it changes, like, all of these timers, basically. The stuff it takes to build things, the amount of, resource it takes to research, like, all of that is sped up. So you sort of, you know, you climb through the technologies and things faster. And you have more stuff on the table faster. So, Cassial Shredders. These are also new in the DLC, which is cool. Sliding with the machines made more sense. After watching a pack of shredders eviscerate the fleshy meat sacks of a dark vassal. The buzzsaws tore away hunks of meat from its bones, and it died with its organs spilling out on the ground. It was such a sight that I didn't even mind the smell. Gross. So yeah, these really remind me of the things from Halo. No, not Halo. Half-Life. From Half-Life 2. You know, sometimes they throw in a bunch of shredders. You just bop them away with your crowbar. Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, really just cool stuff to, like, you know, take inspiration from. La 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 la. Minerals. Yum yum yum. Tasty minerals. Yeah. All right. Oh, by the way, you can do this in the options menu. I don't think this is on by default. I always be sure to point this out. You can actually make cliffs more visible. Orange is cliffs. So stuff can't embark and disembark if it's a hover thing. If it can fly, it can fly. But like if it's a hovering thing, you need beaches to go into the water and out. And also, sometimes these are just like in the middle of land. And you just can't see them and you realize you haven't taken the long way around something. So yeah, if you do this in the options, there's an option to make them more visible, which I think is really important. You could argue it lowers the sort of fidelity of the game a bit to have these like things everywhere. But like whatever, it's a 4X game. You want to see what's going on. At least I do. So let's go ahead and get ourselves some algae. Let's give it a go. Because yeah, all these, they do have some food upkeep as well. Actually, more food upkeep than algae. So maybe going for algae first was a bit pointless. But it will be nice to have algae production up broadly. So that's 30% extra food. That's an extra 30% food from that tile, but it's 3. It's got 3 slots, so it's much better than the forest. We'll be able to build a bunch of farms. So a bunch of algae and greenhouses we can build there. We might need to build another barracks at some point. And we're not going to be able to counterattack here, because they're in water. We can't melee into the sea. Ooh. Tax researchers, scientists, they all hold up here. When I was younger, stupider, I thought this is where the soft hid from the harshness of war. That's what they wanted us to think, of course. Some of the most monstrous minds found their place there. Why pull the trigger when you can make the gun? Ugh. Alright, Hollow Theatre is going to be really useful. Increase loyalty. Loyalty is just a general buff to all production. And, well, not production. Production of everything. Because production is actually a stat. You know, it's actually like a resource on its own for, like, building units and things. But no, like, everything created will get a buff if it's more loyal. But if your loyalty slips down, which is it goes down by 1 for every population you have, right? So you can see, yeah, -3 for population, because we have 3 population. The bracket is how many buildings we have being used, by the way. So we have 3 population, but only 2 things that they can station. So we have too much population, basically. So we're just losing out on loyalty as a result of having overpopulation, I guess. But anyway, so loyalty, when it dips into the minuses, it's like -2% per minus point of loyalty, right? But you get a bonus of 1% for every loyalty above 0. So it gives you a smaller bonus, but a bigger negative. So you want to keep it in the black at least. But later on, it does become actually more useful just to get 1% extra if you're producing hundreds of loads of different materials. You can just buff your loyalty across the board, and it just helps you more. But, you know, it'll be a while before we get there, so we just want to offset the negatives, really, early on in the game. At least that's how I find it, so it works best. Oh! We have some of these now. That's fun. We also found Volcanic. After the Fulcrum cracked the tectonic plates apart, Fulcrum was the, I think the first, like, big, like, ship, that big pyramid that appeared in a cutscene at the start. I think that was Fulcrum. Or Fulcrum might have just been the invasion generally. All those, like, weird pillar ships that arrived. That destroyed half the planet. There's volcanic activity across the globe, way more than the shot itself caused. A new researcher had a decent theory. ZEPHON could now access rare minerals near the Earth's core and was mining down there. Smart kid. I hope she makes it. So, okay, it wasn't Akron. Akron came to stop ZEPHON. ZEPHON did Fulcrum, I think. To start harvesting the planet, maybe. It's all real vague, alright? It's all real weird. I've tried to piece it together so many times, but, like, there's such weird overlap in the story about, like, you know, what is what, because they all have, like, their own weird little proper nouns to remember. So, anyway, what are we going to do with you guys, then? You're injured to start with, so I should heal you up, really. Now we just have our Akbluth Dragoons running around. So, yeah, we're riding these things called Akbluths. So it's just people on Akbluths. But yeah, they're alien creatures, so you can communicate them through the voice. Obviously. I don't know why I need to tell you that. It's just like, obviously. We are losing chips now, though, because of these jerks. So we are going to run out of chips at some point. And, you know, I'm British, so I love chips. Alright, let's move on. Alright, they're running off again. Perhaps I'll explore further north, maybe. But yeah, they're both healing up, which is fine. We do need to explore just this little corner as well. Maybe I'll quickly go and do that. We just found some enemies. Rude. Rude much. Do you want to start attacking with you as well? I think we will. We'll get everyone on them. So, I mean, that's pretty good damage. I'll take it. I'll have to kill a couple. So this does let you tame Abcluths that you find. That you find out and about. Which is cool. I like that. So, you know, they know how to tame them. So you can tame wild ones. Ishmael forces discovered. A soldier's broken body was just a foundation for a better weapon. Paralyzed? They shunted your spine, missing limbs. They'd give you something better. Pretty soon, they were standardizing the replacement parts and just outfitting the soldiers with them, whether they needed them or not. It's just, yeah, these arms are better. You will get these arms now. Pretty horrendous. You could probably do with some more healing. You have another turn before you can move again, so... Oh, and our city can attack as well. Pew 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 pew. Kablooey. Alright, they're pretty upset now. They're shaken. So when morale dips, their damage is lessened, and they take more damage from you. So it's worth breaking people. Hello, Whisperer of Galrouch, who can level up. Reveals target and adjacent tiles. I like that. That's really powerful. Spawns deformities. So deformities, yeah, they lose hit points each turn. So it'll cost us 10 algae. So we'll just turn some algae into homunculus, and they'll just exist for a while. As like a disposable unit. That puts up hit points to target allied damaged biological unit, and you lose some hit points. And we have disintegrate, which it's a big old laser, I guess. So yeah, some cool stuff. This is all pretty cool. I think the healing is pretty great to have. So we'll heal you up. Excellent. Let's mess you up. Now, what are you guys going to do, huh? Oh, you're still not ready yet. Okay. Still one more turn. Not bad. I suppose the turn I activated it I was counting as a 10. Okay. So, Harkey Rink. It's such a silly name. Oh yeah, you can shoot again. Alright, cool, you can finish them. Nice. I'm proud of us. So there you go. Oh yeah, so, your heroes cost a lot of influence, by the way. And the more heroes you have, the more each additional hero of that type will cost you. Not in terms of upkeep, but just like the, you know, the down payment on them, basically. The recruitment cost. It's probably a better way of saying that. So yeah, it'll get more and more expensive, particularly influence. Sandpit. It is so gross, I love it. The art, guys. I missed the art. It's so good. I really hope all the new events and quests get new art as well. I'd imagine so. Old stories told tales of spontaneous generation. The creatures and plants come into existence from non-living matter. Here, what was a lush river valley stretches before you, blasted into bare sand and glass in a passing tragedy of war. Yet, incredibly, something is living there. Leviathan annelids, pre-vertebrate creatures writhing through the shard sand for nutrients. Some grow to massive sizes. What has your world become, you wonder? Well, I wonder. So we can feed them. Looking at their clacking maws, a whisper in your head tells you that they prefer silicates for dinner. It's probably just intuition, but you go with it. Weird. Take samples. The boffins at the lab might be able to make something of this. Either that, or you can put it on a hook and go fishing for whales. Leave well alone. If these creatures can survive by swimming in broken glass, maybe you should stay away. I mean, that kind of makes sense too. Or we can kill them all. They're abominations to threat to human life. I think feed the worms. Whisper in her head, that means the voice. Right? Or we've gone crazy, or both, because, you know, that's kind of the whole Cthulhu influence, isn't it? The closer you are the closer you are to the truth of the universe, the closer you are to madness. You know, potentially because you can't. Either because you can't handle it, you can't handle the truth, thanks Tom Cruise, or, you know, that classic Lovecraftian movie with Tom Cruise, a lawyer. What was that called again? Anyway, never mind. It's irrelevant. You know, or because simply the truth is literally madness, and so, you know, you seem mad to everyone else, but you're actually the only sane one. It's you know, love that Lovecraftian horror. But yeah, feeding them, I think makes sense. It's going to cost us some minerals. We have some. So let's see what happens. Kill defenders of the annelid. Though the annelids do like sand, it turns out they're not picky eaters. They're happy to include your troops on the menu, and when you fight back, a group of the alien Agilian warriors emerge with the broken glass to defend them. This has definitely not been one of your best days. Oh, come on. I was just trying to feed them. Oh, you jerks. Alright, fine. I guess I'll murder you. So one thing that's changed as well, by the way. They've changed how production works for settlements under attack. So normally, as your buildings lose hit points, right? They get, I think it's like devastation or something, and so production is down generally. But they've added this extra layer now, where if an enemy is on a tile, that tile no longer produces for you. Right? Same for the enemy. If you sit on a bunch of tiles of their different production buildings, you can limit their resources by filling up their city with your own guys. It can't produce when it's occupied, essentially, which I really like. I think it's an interesting idea. But it also is scary when we have almost no city and, you know, there's a bunch of enemies on our doorstep. Let's see. I mean, could you... Yeah, you could actually wipe out these guys as it stands. That's kind of sad. I don't like that much. So they've taken some damage, at least. You can start attacking there. I'm going to move you to here and attack them, I think. Oh, okay, you hit morale a lot. That's nice. Oh, they got Overwatch. Quite spicy Overwatch too. Alright, now can you wipe them out? Not quite, but between them they would be able to. Oh, well no, we can wipe out one of those units, so between them wouldn't matter anymore. Oh, and hang on. Yeah, that's one range. Okay, fine. So let's try and wipe them out. And then all these guys can heal up a bit, yeah? Oh no, the Overwatch. So they're not going to die now. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. Alright, we're going to lose our little shredders. That was my bad, guys. I don't know why I didn't think they would Overwatch. I have no idea. Because, yeah, that's a problem. And I can't do all the Mother's Favour stuff. Well, I guess I could. Well, that only biological units, though. Can I target allied unit? So I could give them 20% hit points back? That's not really enough. Yeah, we're just going to lose them, sadly. Yeah, we're just going to lose them. Ah, very sad. But anyway, the Aegilian worms are here. Hearing the voice didn't change everyone the same. Some kept looking for the for that dark, quiet place. Came back changed to find it, delving into the black depths of the earth to see a friend's face on one of these, dragging itself out of stone and dirt. That was hard. I can imagine. Yeah, pretty gross. Yeah. Oh, and there's the worms. You can actually see the worms on the map. So yeah, Aegilian worms are actually part of the map now, which makes me think that they'll provide some benefit to us, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I've never, you know, I've never tussled with these guys. Sand pit discovered. Yeah, that's where the Aegilian worms are. Old stories, told tales of spontaneous generation. Yeah, okay, we read that. That's fine. Right. Okay. Well, anyway, this is all horrible, but we're at the end of the episode. Guys, this has been fun. I'm looking forward to playing this more. I really am. There's enough new units that has me going, ooh, look, a new thing, which honestly is all this game needs. You know, just occasionally just go, oh, a new thing. So, you know, I dig it. I think it's cool. I like to see it. And also these guys, these ones I'm currently highlighting. You can't see the cursor when I hide the HUD, but you can see the little rings when I'm hovering over them. These guys look like the Foot Clan from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just thought I'd share that with you. Guys, if you enjoy this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.
Now our world is an ever-twisting nightmare. Hellish threats lurk in every whisper and shadow.